good afternoon, and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin.
And I'm Sandra Priestley. I almost forgot. I'm Sandra Priestley, and welcome to the podcast. This one is, I'm sure, going to be the best because we have no idea what we're going to fucking say.
Not a clue.
So it is going to be seriously good. I know it. I am drinking green tea, which seems cloudy and it's a bit concerning, but it's good. What are you drinking today?
Well, I was going to drink some gingerbread tea that one of my patients brought me.
Ooh, both of us were going to drink tea.
I know, but then I got distracted.
Okay.
Because Paul brought me home. Paul posted on Facebook yesterday about this espresso martini recipe.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, yes. So what does Paul go do yesterday? He goes and buys the ingredients, except for the espresso beans that you put on top.
Oh.
He missed that part. So he asked me last night, do you want to try a martini? And I was like, no, I'll wait till we have all the stuff. Right. I'm good. Plus, who wants an espresso martini on a weeknight at like 7:30 at night? Like, I mean, I wouldn't, just because I want to sleep, right?
Yeah.
So I got home today and I had a call and I was like, you know what? I can make an espresso martini. I can play with it. So I made it. I put it with a big ice cube. I didn't put it in a martini glass because nothing was chilled and I wasn't going to go through all the trouble of shaking it. And
is it good? Did you use decaf?
Well, no, but I have our ambassador Christmas party after this.
Okay.
So, I'm just pre-gaming, right?
Right. Yes. It's important. Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Does it taste good?
Oh, it tastes so good.
So now I got to go to Paul's Facebook and get the recipe.
Yeah, it's on my page. It's 3 ingredients.
Right.
It's like vodka and then like espresso vodka. Who knew?
There's espresso vodka.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
And then 2 other things. One of them is they're 2 liqueurs.
Okay.
So
Nice.
good. So
Awesome.
I don't know that I was
it.
supposed to put it over ice, but whatever. Okay.
Okay. I've had a pretty cool week, I have to say. I've had some really interesting conversations. And I posted something about resistance. Like, okay, resistance is my thing. I love to help women through resistance. And I feel like it's because I have been in it myself so many times. Where
You know it.
I know it's, I wear this like my skin suit. And so it was interesting because I was having this conversation with a client, and she's a parent coach, and she was working with someone who was very, like, she had problems that she was wanting help with and kind of had an idea of what she was going to do. And what my client had done was sort of give her a completely different or opposite approach, completely different approach that she knew had worked. And it was interesting to see how she worked through that just like total resistance, or what's the word I was going to use? Like, anyway, resistance to trying this new way. And
the woman that she was talking to?
Yes.
Okay.
All I kept thinking of was how our minds intentionally, we seek out, what's the word? Man, I'm having a dyslexic day today. We seek out like probability. We seek out like what we believe is going to happen. We kind of go through all of the past stuff that we've ever done because we want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We want probability, and our minds are going to do that. And I started thinking about how fucking brave we need to be in order to do something that is different. At the same time, if we want change, we have to do something that is different. We have to change if we want change. So it's no reason, or it's no wonder why so many people stay stuck.
Well, and what happens is we look at the past and we say, last time I did this, this happened. I failed, fell on my face, lost all my money, whatever it is. So this is dangerous, or anything in this arena. Maybe it's going into business for yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and I'm going to work for somebody else for the rest of my life where it's safe, because that is dangerous. And then we can't see it. We can have brilliant ideas, brilliant business models, like boom, boom, boom. But it's not a possibility for us because our brain goes, oh, no, 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 that's dangerous. Last time you did that, you fell on your face. You cannot do that again.
Or this is what I know. I know how that turns out. And I want to do what feels safe, even if I hate it. You know how many people stay in a job that they absolutely fucking hate, and they have such passions and such brilliance in them and such amazing opportunities. And when they come to me with like, this is what I'm doing, but I'm scared and I'm not sure. And I can see where this looks. I can see how amazing this looks. I can see how amazing they will feel when they start to step into their passions.
Yeah.
But they're looking for safety. And what's safe is, I've been working in this job. I get paid this amount, and I know I hate it. But I know I can handle that pain because I've been through it before. It kind of, I've just gotten used to it over time.
It's a familiar hell.
It's a familiar hell instead of an unfamiliar heaven.
Correct.
And it was just fascinating to kind of watch this go, like, watch this interaction, watch this exchange that she had, talking her client through sort of mindset shift that she went through.
Well, that has to shift in order for the client to do anything, because the client cannot make that leap with that belief. Because if the client makes the leap with the belief that they're going to fall on their face, what's going to happen? They're going to fall on their face.
Interesting too, from the business world, but also, also weight loss. It would be for hypnosis. It would be for anything, right? It's interesting because I think that there was this sort of, they call it bro marketing, like the sort of traditional way that people market themselves. And if someone comes with an objection, the idea up until recently was to manage their, why am I using air quotes all fucking day? Anyway, it was to manage their objections. And I really thought, people get their own objections. I'm not going to try to manage, and I'm not going to try to beg you, and I'm not going to try to convince you, because you're either ready to take that leap or you're not.
Yes.
And if I convince you to work with me, I'm going to have to drag you, and I don't want to do that, And it's the same with weight loss. If someone came in to work with you and they were saying, I'm not sure, and they were bringing all of the excuses, I will guarantee you would say, maybe you're not ready.
Yeah.
Why don't you go and think about it and come back if you change your mind? Because if you said, oh, but you can do this, and look at this, and here's this other person, and she was in the same spot, and what if you do this, and if you just, I'll help you through, and you can talk to me every day.
And that's what I would be doing the whole time they were there. And they would resent me every moment because I made them be there. In sales training,
not get the results either.
No,
Yeah.
because they'd
Yeah.
be too pissed off. In
Yeah.
sales training, when I was in with MetaFast years ago, um, they would bring us together and we would do all these trainings, and it was get to their pain point, find out
Yeah.
where the pain comes from and push on it until they're like, I'll do whatever you want to make this go away. Amplify it.
Yeah.
And looking at even at the time, I wouldn't argue with them, but I was like, I don't want to work with people that I have to do that to. I want them there because they want to be there, because then we'll have more successful people, not just money coming in and going out.
Yeah.
And I know I laugh because salespeople or sales trainers would like die if they heard me with a client or a patient
Yeah.
going, think about it. If
Yeah.
you're not ready for this, wait, I'm not going anywhere.
For sure. And it was interesting because I just took it was just a free masterclass. And this woman was just, it felt like I was shocked actually. It felt like she was leading with shame,
Mm,
guilt, and I mean, I could see through it. It was like under this guise of like, you could achieve all that you desire, but what if you don't respect yourself to follow through? Let's have a conversation about respect. Let's have a conversation about integrity. I'm thinking to myself, whoa, this is shame disguised as desire.
yeah. Yep.
I can't do it. I can't listen. I can't.
Mm-mm.
And I think we spend a lot of time in this weird space of trying to drag people, beg people. I
Mhm.
said to one of my clients, she had come to me for relationship coaching, and she's very, very active, and her husband was gaining weight and was like really sort of down and numbing, and so she said, like, I try to encourage him, and I said, okay, but here's the thing. You really, really want him to be happier, to be more energetic, to lose weight because that's what he wants. But the minute he says that he's thinking about going for a walk, you run to the car, grab your running shoes, buy some for him, get his gear, and like you're running. Yes, I got the shoes. Let's go right now. It's the middle of the night. That's okay. Like, so
Yeah. Instead of just allowing him to do it.
right, allowing that moment, that like vulnerability of saying, I think I want to do this, and allowing all of the excuses, all of the reasons, all of the protective mechanisms that we come up with. Like, we need a time period where we allow those to come through, because they will.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that, when our minds go through all of the reasons why we shouldn't, all of the reasons why I want to be safe, so I'm not going to do this, so I'm going to convince myself. When we get through that, I think that there's this moment of clarity where it's like, I'm willing to take that leap, even though I don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's such a powerful state, instead of knowing what pain you're going to reach. I was watching, like, if you stayed stuck, I was watching Mel Robbins. She shows up in my feed a lot. And she made this, it was a reel on Instagram, and she was talking about taking that sort of leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
She said, it's almost like finding clarity and finding your passion of what it is that you want to do. And a lot of times we sit and we just think, well, I'm not sure what to do, and we stay stuck in that unsureness.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine it's like a bridge, and you don't necessarily know what's on the other side of the bridge, but you just trust that the bridge is going
Yes.
to lead you to somewhere.
Mhm.
And it might be amazing. It might not be, but it's still going to be better than you staying where you are.
Yes. But there's also the intuition that you need to listen to. Like if you're standing
Sure.
on the edge of a building and you really want to jump, not to die, but to fly, you need to make sure you can fucking fly. So
Yeah.
there's some things that life is trying to protect you. Like, yeah, that's not a good idea, honey.
Yep.
But then there are also things that you don't know what's on the other side, but you can feel with every fiber of your being that on the other side of that bridge or door or at the bottom of that staircase or the top of that staircase is magic waiting for you, although you don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's
But
like
you
this.
can, huh?
It's like this podcast.
There you
Like
go.
when we started it, right? And I always go back. It was such a good lesson. I always go back to it because it was something that you kept hearing. And when you approached me, it was like, oh, I don't know. You know,
Mm.
I always, my first is like, yes, let's jump. And then I think, whoa, okay, see, here's like all of these reasons, like, oh, do I really want to do this? Like, I don't know. Am I good enough to be on this podcast? Am I going to say something fucking stupid? And, but it's like an inner knowing that you
Mhm.
just have to try.
Yep.
I wonder, do you think that there, or have you recognized in yourself, being that you're so introspective lately, have you recognized within yourself when there is a gut feeling or your intuition that feels like fear, like a real fear, or a thought of fear? Can you like, can you feel the difference? Have you noticed
Well,
that? I've been
I've
working
been
on this lately.
getting really good at identifying that's a story.
Mm-hmm.
I had an opportunity about a year ago to do something different. Someone approached me and wanted me to make a really big change, and it sounded amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at it from all these angles, going, this makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense. But what didn't feel right was severing my relationship with the docs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there was something in me that was like, not yet, not yet. And I couldn't explain it because it made so much sense to make this move. But it didn't, like internally. And so I couldn't act and I couldn't make a move because I didn't know that I didn't feel that, yes.
Right.
It was like my inner being was going, hang on, girl, don't
Mhm.
get crazy. Well, less than a year later, some things unfolded that made me go, whew, if I
Right.
had taken this leap and taken this opportunity as it was presented, I would be totally fucked right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would be on this path that I have found myself on with the hypnotherapy and NLP. I don't know that I would have shifted in this
I
direction.
was thinking that as you were talking. Yeah.
I would have severed an amazing relationship with the people that I work for. Like I would have missed out on quite a bit of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me giggle because I knew it wasn't fear. I just knew I didn't have all of the information yet. And I knew that meant I was not supposed to move.
Right.
But but these last 3 years and being, studying and reading and paying attention and learning and going, "Oh, these are made up stories that you've been living as truth and believing as truth, including the shit that you make up when you're laying in bed in the morning, filled with anxiety." about a story that you're making up. Hadn't even happened yet, Leigh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these 3 years have, like, I have been in my head. I didn't realize until, this NLP class that I'm working, and we're talking about being internal or external, and I'm looking at how internal I have been. It served me. It has helped. And I have been external enough to have the wherewithal to get in touch with you and go, let's start a podcast. Where the fuck did that come from, Sandra?
I do not know. Straight from God.
Right. And so I just look at these things that I've done enough to make some momentum happen. And I'm looking now at going, it's time to get out of your head. Not completely. I'm not done with school.
Yeah.
I might have a year left, but to really get out and put to practice in my own life, and of course with clients, all of these things.
So, yes, I agree. Question for you, because
Yeah.
when you're talking internal and external, I'm interpreting it with the way that with my book of law, right?
Okay.
So I'm not entirely sure if I'm interpreting it correctly as
Great
to the
question.
way that you have been introduced it, but I see it as yin and yang energy, or feminine and masculine energy. I think yin energy is that more like introspective, sitting back, whereas the yang is the do energy, similar
Yeah.
to masculine energy, right? Do. Let's see what we can create here. And I think that we can sit stuck in yin energy. And I think everything has, we always need yin energy. We always have to have that introspection. And I think that it's almost dang near impossible to have only yin energy and not a little bit of yang. But it's almost like, in my mind, you're mostly yin with a little bit of yang. Like it's pulling you, or maybe pushing you to do that, to do the dang thing.
Yeah.
You have to have that balance. We're always seeking homeostasis. We're always seeking balance. And so I wonder if that's the way I interpret it.
Yeah. So, and how I
Is it
think about
similar
it
or no?
is I analyze everything.
Yeah.
So when someone does something, with the exception of my husband and my daughter, when they do things, I can make snap, instant decisions about what that fucking meant. However, if the rest of my life things happen and I sit and I look, and then I look at where that person is. So, for example, Lily was talking to a guy online, and they have a couple of conversations, never met in person. And he decides to announce one night that if they are to date, the only men that Lily will be talking to is her father and her son. So you can imagine how well that went over with my daughter. And she's talking to me about it. And I was like, oh, he's been hurt. This is him trying to control the situation. Like, he might not be a total dick. This is just the result of what's happened to him. And he's weak and couldn't figure out how to figure it out. So he's going to control the situation. That being said, this is a red fucking flag, and that means run.
Yeah.
You don't need to hate the guy. You don't need to badmouth the guy. You want to understand where he came from, but you don't need to fix that. Like,
Yeah,
that
it's like
is not.
it's just like a trauma response.
Yeah. Like, no. I tend to analyze things and what does this mean? Sometimes it's great because I can, what does this mean? And get super, super excited and pumped, ready to do something. But I'm feeling the need for more peopling, like really connecting with
Mhm.
people, not just in an office setting where we're working on coaching or hypnotherapy, that kind of thing, but authentic conversations with
Yeah.
friends, with colleagues, with
Mhm.
instead of being up here in my head so much,
Okay.
thinking. But I
Mhm.
love the yin yang balance that you're equating it to, because
Yeah,
that does make sense. But we always want to be a little leaning one way or a little leaning the other, because if
for
it's
sure.
completely balanced, we are bored out of our minds.
Right, but I do feel like we're always seeking it, or maybe that's my Libra. But I don't feel like we are completely balanced, but I feel like we're always like shifting to seek it. Like sometimes more yin, then we move, and then it's a little bit more yang, and then we move back. Like I think over time, you
Hmm.
know?
You know, this is so interesting. We're having this conversation. I have a hypnotherapy patient, and she came in today and she told me, she said, Leigh, I don't know what happiness feels like. I don't remember a time in my life where I was happy. Maybe the birth of my children. I don't know. I don't remember it. I think she must be so balanced because there's not a whole lot of passion. Like, she has plenty of money. And so she was raised very, very poor. And so now they have, they're set. They don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
So she feels like I should be so grateful for this, that
Hmm.
me wanting that is disrespecting this. So she stayed in this place of kind of balance
Mm.
where she's just bored because everything in her life is kind of in order, but
Mm.
she doesn't have a passion that lights her on fire. And now you've got me thinking I need to mess with her elements a little bit
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she's open. I bet she would take the
Too much water.
maybe. Yeah.
Too much water and needs a little bit of fire. Or maybe too much fire.
No, there's
It
no
sounds
fire
like
there.
it sounds like it's
No
just
fire.
like way too much water.
Hmm. We are out of time.
You are a busy lady and you have a call right away. So
Yes,
this
I do.
like fun and surprising. Who knew where we were going to go? But just like if we were to sit down at the bar, have a drink after work on a Thursday,
Yeah. And then be
who-
like, Sandra,
I
I got to
know,
go.
I know.
Well, thank you, Sandra. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.